What's going on, world? And welcome to Clearing the Wreckage Podcast. It's the voice and your host, Kareem A. Rashid. And once again, I don't know what you got going on. You could be getting on the toilet or you could be getting off the toilet. Hell, for all I know, you could be wiping your tushy. But I know that I'm ready. And so I hope that you're ready to clear the wreckage. Yes, indeed. What's going on, my friends? What is going on, my fellow wreckage clearers, clearing community? We are back with another great conversation, another great episode. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I emphasize today because that is all you have is today. Yes, let me recap with you what we discussed last week. We talked about accepting others. And then the week before last, we talked about self-acceptance, accepting ourselves. And now we just must. I thought it had to be done. I said, man, I gotta talk about this. I gotta tie all this stuff together because if I don't, I feel like it's incomplete. So we must tie it all together today with something that I believe that for me and for you is a daily practice, my friends. And we need to activate this in order to clear the wreckage, in order for us to grow, in order for us to mature, as some would say. And that, my friends, is accepting reality. Yes. Boy, this is hard to do sometimes. Ooh, man, I tell you what, I know. Hey, I can raise my hand to attest to that. That's why, my friends, this is a daily practice. Daily practice. And we are not perfect. We are not saints. We are just on a journey together of clearing the wreckage. So every day we must practice accepting ourselves, accepting others, and accepting our reality. Yes. And today we're going to discuss all of this, and I'll title this, Acceptance is only found exclusively, only meaning exclusively, in the present. Yes. Yes. You can only accept your reality in the present, because that is the only place that reality exists. Reality is only now. Reality right now is that I am sitting in front of you having a conversation with you wherever you are in your reality, but my reality is that I'm recording a podcast episode right now as we speak. That is my reality. I'm sitting at my desk. I'm recording a podcast episode. So that is the only place that reality exists. Reality only exists in the now. In the now meaning the present. Which means what, my friends? That our reality does not exist in tomorrow. No. It does not exist in yesterday. No. Yours and mine, both of our realities, only exist in now, today, this moment. I've said it before. I will say it again. Let me emphasize this. Every single day of the week ends in the word day, D-A-Y. That is not a coincidence. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They all end in day, and then what do you call that word when you wake up? Today. You don't call it yesterday or tomorrow when you wake up. It is today that you woke up. You don't know what in the world is going to even happen tomorrow. You really don't. You have no clue. Yes, granted, we can make plans. We could, oh, this is what I'm doing tomorrow. Oh, my work schedule says I have to be to work at, 3 p.m. But you have no ideation, no clue about what really is going to happen the next day. And God willing, you live, my friend, to see that next day. So first, I'm going to share with you a total exact practice, right? So I'm going to share with you this little tool that I use, and it's the exact practice that I've been using since 2017 to help me accept my reality. And that is, I look at the clock. Right now, it is such and such time. This is the example I'm giving you. So that's what I would normally do. I look at the clock and go, oh, right now is such and such time. Today, the date is, April such and such. The year is such and such. And I remind myself of that time, and I look at it, and I look where I am at that current time. And then I look around and I see my surroundings and I say to myself, whatever is happening in that moment at that time. So I say that out loud. So right now, for instance, it is 1:55 p.m. Monday, April 20th, 2026. I am sitting in front of my computer at my desk recording a podcast episode. I am speaking into my mic. The camera is looking at me. These are the things that I say to myself. So I'm just sharing this with you so you can get an idea of the exact tool that I practice. And then I go, well, where am I at? I'm inside of my house. I am at my desk. I am enclosed in four walls. My door is locked. I am safe. I am safe. Y'all remember that? Remember that analogy of baseball? Your ideal is to make it home safe. Anyway, so I am safe, right? Everything is fine. And actually, in this moment, everything is perfect. That may be a little controversial to a lot of y'all. But everything right now is perfect. But if you are anything like me, then you probably sometimes overcomplicate things. But this, my friends, is a simple tool that you can use. You can also do this sometimes as well that I do. I see that I'm breathing by breathing, right? Like I hear my breath. I breathe in, I breathe out. I feel my hands. I feel my chest. Then I use my eyes to look around. In other words, I stop and I tap into all of my senses and recognize the gift. This, my friends, is not an easy practice. However, it is simple. But you may want to overthink. You may want to overcomplicate this for no reason. Because that is what I do. I am the same way. But this is simple. And why I said it is simple? Because this is an act. This is an action that I have to take. Otherwise, my brain is going to be active and it is going to ruminate back and forth, hop and skip, and even jump and play hopscotch. So with that being said, how can I accept reality if I am only allowing my brain to move back and forth, hop and skip, jump, play hopscotch, play double dutch? If my brain, how? Somebody please tell me how. How in the world am I accepting reality if I'm allowing my brain to do those things? So I have to act in order to control my brain. Remember, our brain is like a computer. If you listen to the episode about open-mindedness, I talked about our brain being similar to a computer. So imagine yourself right now at a computer, just like I am. Imagine you're at the computer and you mess around and hit the wrong button. Oops. And your computer just starts downloading all this information to your hard drive. That process will continue unless you take action. You have to take action. So you begin to take your hand, you scroll the mouse on over, and you hit cancel download. Right? That is the only way that it will stop, my friends. So that is the only way that our brain will stop from going place to place, unless we got to take our hand, scroll that mouse on over to our brain, and hit cancel download. We got to take action. Accepting our reality is like that. Taking an action to stop the download of the past and or the future to invade our brains with anxiety, fear, anger, dishonesty, self-seeking. Because that's what's going to most likely happen if we allow it. But let me tell you something that is really empowering. We, my friends, have the power to pause, the power to stop it only by taking action. You cannot think your way into right living, so to speak. Acceptance is exclusively found in the present because it is the only time that reality actually exists. Ooh, man, maybe I need to say that again. Acceptance is only exclusively found in the present because it is the only time reality actually exists. Which means embracing what is. We must embrace what is. You know the term, it is what it is. People like to throw that term around. Throw it around like it's just, confetti. But are we really accepting our reality when we say that? It is what it is. So, accepting our reality means embracing what is. It means the current unchangeable moment without resistance, judgment, or mental distortion. That's what that means. That means, hey, I accept this current unchangeable moment without any resistance, any judgment, or mental distortion. Mental distortion meaning anger, frustration, irritability, restlessness, discontentment. The more that you resist, the more you will suffer emotionally. I repeat, the more you resist, the more you will suffer emotionally. The more angry you become, the more filled with anxiety, more fear, more dishonesty, more depression, more discouragement. The list goes on. More of things that you don't really want invading your mental state. Reality is only now. The past is memory and the future is projection. The past is you looking back in your hard drive and you're trying to come up with the file that you downloaded years ago and you're uploading it, that is the past. That's what you're doing to your computer, to your brain. You're going back to a file that you have on your computer from years ago that was downloaded years ago, and then you decide, I'm going to upload this and bring it back to the forefront of my brain. The future is you just projecting something that hasn't even happened yet. It's more like you're trying to solve a mystery that you have no idea about. You don't even have the clues for the mystery because it's way in the future somewhere. So acceptance is the surrender to the reality of this instant. Welcoming it. Welcome everything that is happening. Of course, you may not like it. That's why we went over the difference between approval and acceptance, because you're not going to like everything that is happening. But we must accept it. Otherwise, when you resist or fight it, you are wasting energy that could be used for change. Remember the serenity prayer? I talked about that last week. There's so many times in my life since 2016 I prayed that prayer. So much. And so the serenity prayer, God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. The wisdom to know the difference does not come with your brain ruminating the past or fixating or obsessing over what you think the future is, because you don't know the future. So you become psychic all of a sudden and think, oh, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. Oh, no. Oh, no. But you have no ideation. You have no clue. The wisdom comes in that line. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change. In other words, the moment you pause and you state that, you are taking action of acceptance by surrendering to that moment. Accept the things that I cannot change. It simply means to cease fighting. Put down your sword. Put down your gun. Emotionally and figuratively speaking. Put down the sword. Stop fighting. Man, I had to learn how to stop fighting, y'all. I had to learn to stop fighting things that I had no control over, particularly other people. I'm going to take you back to 2017 and my marriage, in between 2017 and 2019. Man, back in the marriage, so the more I fought, the more there was resistance. Have you ever noticed that? Let's talk about the ocean for a little bit. Let's talk about the ocean. When you're in the ocean, if you start to try to fight the waves, you're going to end up drowning. Honestly, you're going to drown. You need to relax when you're in the ocean. Otherwise, the tide is going to take you under. It's the same way. It's the same way with life. It's the same way with people, places, and things, circumstances, situations. It's the same thing. So, for example, when my ex-wife was struggling with her addiction, it hurt me, y'all. It was painful. It was painful to watch. And sometimes I would allow that pain, that hurt to fester inside of me. In other words, the fight begun, my friends. I would take it personal. Start asking questions such as, why is she doing this to me? Doesn't she know that this hurts me too? And the moment we start asking those type of questions, we started the fight. The fight starts within, my friends. Then it could easily lead to the outside, which in some instances it did with me. She would come home and I would go off on her because I was already pissed. I was already mad. I was already taking it personal. Why can't you see how much this hurts me? Why can't you see it? My friends, that is judgment and not acceptance of what the reality was. Thank God I got to the place, that I was able to embrace the reality. And I did that by practicing a simple tool that I shared with you earlier. I did it by pausing when agitated. I just paused right then for a moment, for a reason. Y'all probably like, dang, that's a pause. Why did he just pause? I paused to gather my thoughts, to collect them properly. Yeah, but here's the thing. I did it by embracing what is, which was holy guacamole, tortilla, chips, and salsa. I married someone just like me. Uh-oh. That was the reality. I married someone just like me, someone who was just like my past self. I thought differently. Maybe that things would be different, but they are not. I accept that I married her. We are married. As her husband, I am going to love her. Thank God she's home. She's alive. How about I embrace her and tell her I love her? That is what I learned to do. That is what I learned to do. Can you do that with your reality? Can you do that with someone else? But we need to do it with our reality because the person normally is included in that reality. And you can do it. That's the same thing that you can do with your reality. Whatever is happening right now, embrace it. Your reality could be this. I'm at work and I feel a little hungry. That could be your reality right now. Accept that moment of hunger. Accept it. Because right now, the clock says it's 2:15 and I'm not dying. The building has not collapsed. The building has not been set on fire. My feet are up underneath me. I'm breathing. I got Clearing the Wreckage podcast in my ear or playing on my computer at my desk. All is well. All is well. Everything is Gucci. Everything is good. That's a simple practice. You are making a deliberate choice to align with the present moment rather than fighting it. With those tools that I just gave you right then and there, you're at work, you feel a little hungry, accept that moment of hunger. Look at the clock. Oh, it's 2:13 p.m. Oh, I'm not dying. Oh, the building's not on fire. Oh, the building hasn't collapsed. Oh, man, I'm chilling. I'm good. I got Clear the Wreckage podcast in my ear. You know, listening to my homie Kareem. My feet are up underneath me. Oh, let me feel my hands. Oh, my fingers are moving. Oh, yeah, all is well, man. All is well. Everything is good. That is you deliberately making a choice to align with the present moment rather than fighting it. Then you can also throw in there, thank you, God, for my job. Gratitude will always help you accept the present moment. And the only way that you're going to be grateful is by looking at that present moment. By stating all of those things to yourself, then you will become grateful. Oh, you know what? I got a job. Isn't that awesome? Man, I'm not dying of starvation. There are so many people in this world that don't even have the money or the means or the resources for food right now. So it brings about gratitude, and then it helps you align with the present moment rather than fighting it. You fighting that moment will look something like this. Reacting emotionally to a coworker because you're hungry and you haven't had your lunch break yet. Or it can look like you emotionally reacting to a customer. Customer comes into your job. How you doing? You give them an attitude. Simply because you did not eat before work knowing that your lunch break isn't until 2:30. That's on you. That is on you, my friends. That's on you. Just like it was with me in my marriage. That's on me, bro. That is on me, dude. I got married. I decided to marry this person because I loved her. I decided to marry her. So what am I supposed to do? Not accepting the reality would be me pointing the finger. It's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault that this marriage is the way that it is. Blah. Complaining, judgment. All of that happens when we just don't accept what is, embrace what is. And this, my friends, is what happens and is exactly what is happening in our world today. This is what's happening in our world today. We got so many people that are unhappy. Just totally unhappy. And I'm sitting here like, what the hell are you so unhappy about? What is making you so unhappy? Well, what's making you unhappy is the fact that you don't know how to accept reality for what it is. And because you can't accept it, you will constantly stay upset, angry, or in frustration because you don't know how to just embrace what is happening with you or your reality. That's really all I have. So I shared the tool with you on how to practice. I had more to talk about, but and I had kind of wrote down a couple of notes, but I'm not you know what? Never mind. I will share that. I will share that with you. I'll drive the point home just a little bit. Acceptance requires you acknowledging. Just remember, we talked about the 4 A's, and so this is very important. Acceptance requires you acknowledging the facts as they are in that precise moment, as they occur, right? So the same way that I shared with you, the facts. I'm sitting in front of my computer. I'm sitting in front of my microphone. It is 2:18 p.m. I am recording a podcast episode. I am sitting down. I am enclosed in four walls. I am safe. So that's what acceptance is all about. Becoming aware, acknowledging, and admitting, and bringing yourself to acceptance. Requires acknowledging those facts. I just presented facts to you. These are facts. This is what is happening right now. In this precise moment as they are occurring, this is what is happening. Now, most suffering rises not from the situation itself, but from the mental commentary. The peanut gallery, if you shall, what I like to say. The peanut gallery in your head starts making a bunch of judgments or starts asking questions or says, you shouldn't, or it should be, or it should not be, or why me? Or why are they doing this to me? Or why did this happen to me? The peanut gallery. You have the power, my friend. You have the power to quiet the peanut gallery. You cannot accept the future because the future hasn't happened yet. There's too many possibilities that are still infinite and subject to change. And we must remember that acceptance is that step toward change. The 4 A's: awareness, acknowledge, admit, and accept. By accepting what is in the now, you free yourself to focus on what you can actually control. Which, let me just break it down to you. Now, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to share a poem with you after this, but I want to leave you with this fact. You cannot control anyone else. Let me just tell you that, because that is what is going on. That is why you're stressed out. That is why you're depressed. That is why you're anxious. Anxiety is from us living in the future. Depression is normally from us living in the past. That's what's going on with you right now. And we don't want any of that, do we? We want to be happy. We want to be joyous, filled with joy, and we want to be free. We want to be free of those things that hold our mind captive, our mental state captive. We want to be freed from that stuff. But you, my friends, have the power. You have the power. The courage to change things I can is you stopping and pausing when agitated and looking at what is happening right now in your current reality. Right now. And look around you a little bit, see your surroundings, and you'll realize all is well. Y'all remember the story that I shared with y'all about me going to Mexico City? Yeah. So, me going to Mexico City and going there and helping out those that lived in the impoverished sections and areas in Mexico City, man, that helped me put things in perspective. I think, this is what I think, how you will start practicing acceptance when you start hopping into other people's shoes. And I really think that every person, this is just what I believe. I think that every single person, as a young person, should go to another country, a third world country, or they should know what it's like to live on the streets. It's just experience. That should be education. Like, forget all this school book stuff, like this curriculum. Like, that should be education. Oh, man, this is what it's really like. Live that way for a little while. And I bet you'll start accepting your reality, and you'll probably even embrace it a whole lot more, because you'll be like, dang, I got food to eat. This is great. Everything is well. All is well. And then that is when the gratitude comes in, because you are looking at your current situation or reality, and you realize that, man, I have every single thing that I need. Why am I sitting up here fighting? Why am I fighting? I have everything that I need. Once you get to that place, but you have to do it by taking action. Those simple steps, the simple little tools that I shared with you. Hey, it's such and such time. It is April such and such. My feet are planted on the ground, right up underneath me. I am breathing. I'm not on fire. I haven't died. All is well. All is well. So that is what it means to accept our reality, my friends. I want to talk about social media real quick because this is where I see a lot of people not accepting reality. And, and I don't want to be political. I don't want to be political at all. And so I'm not going to dive too much into it. But the current person, the current leader of our country is the leader that we delegated. It's the leader that we elected. Therefore, accept your current reality, my friend. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm not going to say anything else about it. Accept your reality. And then be grateful. Well, Dane, at least we stay in a country where we're able to actually vote. Isn't that something? I dare you to go move to a country where you cannot elect your leader. Your feet are still planted up underneath you. Everything is well. Everything is fine. So I'll leave you with this poem. We got to focus on, not focus necessarily so hard on it, because if we do that, we'll start overthinking. But we must take action in order to accept our reality. The action has to take place. This is a poem I wrote called Present, because I believe that the present is the only way that you can align yourself with accepting or embracing your reality. And the cool thing about this, man, like when I write, I was writing these poems back then. And, well, I still write poems a lot, often. But I was writing this when I wasn't able to, when I would struggle with accepting, or I would struggle with not being present. So this is what I wrote when I was dealing with that. It's called Present. Got nothing but space and time. In this time and space, renew my mind, just trying to find his face, thinking that who knew in time I would find this grace, peaceful and pleasant, this peace that I'm blessed with when I rest in his presence, a glorious essence, sweet aroma, no longer sleep, this coma, I resurrected. Now I'm up, standing awake, standing tall, erected like a statue. Today, the past, oh, what troubles have you? I'll be glad to face, about face, head on. I remember my head's on, straight, walk through the gates of hell and heaven. What lesson have you learned? Walk through fiery pits, exit with no burns, walk on hot coals without getting lit. Yes, I'm lit, high as a kite in this life. I take flight, spread my wings and glide through my fright. Fears, I see you. I don't fear those demons anymore. I'm ready to explore, drive through these barricades. Don't turn left or take the detour. Brave, no longer a slave in bondage to myself. My health I honor, and it helps me to be honest rigorously. I practice these principles literally. Writing and reading, I'm literate, sit with literature, fixed on scripture, exercise spiritually fit. Picture my 10th step and stealth like an assassin, ninja. In this life, I have a great defender. The snake strikes and it's venom. But when I let go and let God, the fight is finished. Then I'm replenished with energy. It's really a tough plight for my enemies. It's a shame they must die when they try to step in my vicinity. I'm protected with divinity. You can't get rid of me. My remedy is to trust God and clean house. Up to the stars I beam out of space. Travel to galaxies. These fallacies are what they are, fake. I don't believe the lies. Get out of my face. As of late, I've been able to remain in a state where all I can say is thanks. Yes, I'm great. So full of this food, I scraped the plate, licked my fingers and all, because I still want to taste the juice, the oils, asking for more because I'm used to being spoiled. A big kid on this playground. Hey now, I'm like 4, full of joy, doing cartwheels on the floor, backflips, acrobatics. I hop, skip through this madness, faced with too many attachments, so I have to separate and detach with love because of love for myself. Care. Hug myself like a bear, a sweet embrace. Not so long I need my space. Get out of my head, no vacancy, lights red, no place in me to rent for the night or the week. Get vulnerable, admit that I'm weak. Get on my knees, then stand on my feet, head held high. Look to the sky on today. I set my eyes, hands to my side, stand up, face forward. The fire is lit up under my feet. It's time to fly toward the present. Yes. And with that, I leave you, my friends. Take the time to look inside so that the wreckage can begin to clear. Peace.